Hey Capricorns. Alright, we're out in the forest today doing some earth signs. I'm going to start off pulling a card from the oracle deck to get a clear image of where we're going. Sometimes it's easy for people when they have a kind of intention of the reading, so you're kind of able to, sorry, spicy, you're able to kind of see where you're going, see what you kind of need to work on or what you need to kind of focus on, because it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to work on things just because that's the way the reading's going. Sometimes it's even just messages of reassurance and guidance and letting you know that you're not alone in the path that you're going on. Sorry, I got it. Alright, Capricorns. Let's see what we got. Okay, you got painting the roses red. Reverse. Someone's got a bit of blocks towards I see this as not feeling like, maybe some of you Capricorns are a bit of perfectionists. Not here. Okay, I lied. I'm pulling two. So you've got painting the roses red in reverse, covering up errors and things like that. It mainly talks about lying or being deceitful in some ways, like having that devil energy, like, you can't show the world your mistakes. You can't kind of let people know that you're not a perfect or stable person. You can't you're having this keeping up type of energy. Not knowing how to advance in the world without making mistakes, not knowing how to... The message that's trying to come through is kind of like, you need to stop taking stock of so many mistakes that you've made and thinking that that makes you a bad person or an unsuccessful person or I can't keep up. Like, a lot of people have struggles around everything in their life, and especially in a day and age of social media where you can see a lot of good shit and you don't see a lot of people's bad sides, it's hard to think that a lot of people aren't going through the same thing as you, and that you have to become something other than what you are in order to really be successful. And you feel like things are holding you back, or you think that things are kind of stopping you from getting where you want to go, and you have this image in your head of, right, this is where I want to be, this is what I want to do, and this is who I want to be, and you've put so much stock in trying to be exactly that you're going to try and, work your way through it in a very shadowy kind of way. And I do see this coming from like a feeling like you're not good enough to get where you want to go in life, or feeling like there's something wrong with you, or like there's something blocking you from going to where you need to go in life or where you want to go in life, and thinking that it will be worth it in the end. If I just push harder, if I just ignore this, if I just don't let people know what I'm going through, it will be worth it in the end. I can do this. I just got to keep up, basically. So I'm going to pull a couple cards each for your immediate past, your present, and your immediate future. And we'll see what comes out of it. Okay, so we've got the Seven of Wands, we've got the Magician of Raziel, and we've got the Seven of Pentacles. So, while the oracle reading the oracle cards kind of came out in a very much, this is probably more your emotions, I feel, coming through in the oracle I'm really tapping into someone's emotions of like, oh, I need to keep up. I can't get ahead. I can't do this. I can't, it's not so much in your head. It's more how you feel about yourself as a person and how you feel about yourself in the world. But with this Seven of Wands and Seven of Pentacles, I'm really see you like you've obviously just taken this passion and brought it into your life. Like you have realized that you actually can do this. Like you're able to defend yourself and be like, look, these are the decisions that I've made. Maybe you've just come out of this energy of like trying to cover up all your mistakes, and you're now starting to, you've just made a decision about, like, I can do this. Right, I can do this. We're going to start planting the seeds for tomorrow. We're not going to, you're taking a break and you're trying to kind of not let your head get too much into your physical life, because I see you kind of worrying about things that you don't really need to worry about right now. You're like in your 3D world, you're maybe your career or your money. Like you really need to know that you have just taken the steps by defending your beliefs and defending your decisions and choosing what you want to be and what you want to do. You're really transforming your life and creating what you want to do by just planting the seeds for tomorrow. Like you don't have to take big, drastic, massive action to keep up. You don't always have to do big things. Sometimes it is just taking that tiny little step. And even though it's a 7, it's not an ace, it doesn't necessarily mean that you haven't started. Like it could be a lot of in your mind, like, oh, this isn't enough, it's not big enough, I'm not keeping up. But you have already planted those seeds for the future. You just need to focus on them. We're going to get your present moment. So I see a lot of in your past, you've had a lot of kind of unnecessary worry. You've taken a break from what you wanted to do for a little while, and you've probably just gotten your 3D life back in order or trying to get it back in order, and you're like, okay, I've had some money troubles or some troubles with my job or troubles keeping everything in check and paying the bills, and now, yeah, you get the 6 of Pentacles, you get the 3 of Wands and the Page of Wands. I see you getting some new opportunities to be able to, like, some gifts of money and time and effort, which is usually what comes across as like, you've got these seeds already planted. You know what passion and desires you have on the inside that really are driving you towards what you want to do. And there may be some blocks about keeping up and about not being good enough, or shame around doing things that are a little off the beaten track. But I really do see that things are coming in really well, and you need to start making some long-term plans in the direction that you want to be heading in. So a lot of, if you're taking a new career opportunity, I see that becoming very abundant, and you need to start putting stock in that. So it's not go quit your job and go do this and that. Kind of like how, I think it was Taurus. Even though it's going to start out small, even though this is just a seed right now, it is going to bring in the abundance that you want. And you need to start having the belief that it is going to bring you the abundance that you want. Because if you are sitting there going, I'm not going to make long-term plans for this, and I'm not going to be patient for the money to come in, or I'm not going to be patient for my passion to be aligned with my 3D world, you've got to really start making those plans now. Like, if you keep saying, oh, this isn't going to happen, I've got to keep getting back into my 3D world to make sure shit doesn't fall apart, you keep disconnecting from that passion and the drive, and you think that you're not going to be able to do it in a long term, you're not going to be able to sustain it for a long time, and you're not going to be able to have that be your full-time career if that's what you want. That is going to block you from actually doing what you want. And I do see you I feel some of you going on a really new exciting path. Like it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be like, I've tried this before and this didn't work out. I've started doing this before and it didn't work out. Well, you've already planted those seeds. You've already planted those seeds in your 3D life. You've already been like, well, I've tried this before. Well, that's a stepping stone. That isn't a failure. Okay, that's like saying, oh, I tried to start my own business, but it didn't work, so I'm just going to not try that again. That's a block between thinking that if you fail once, then it's not for you. Like, you've completely disconnected from the passion and desire that you had for it, and it became all about the money, or it became all about how you can't sustain this in your everyday life. And the second that you connect back into why you were doing it in the first place, whether it was to have freedom, whether it was to have sovereignty, whether it was to just want to do something that you're passionate about in the first place, like you want to give to people, you want to go out and explore, you want to have the freedom to do what you want to do, you've already planted those seeds. And with the Page of Wands, it's kind of like it's a new cycle of this desire. So of this passion. So it's not like an ace energy where it's brand new. It's like, I'm starting this new exciting thing. It's still new and exciting, but you're going down a different way. So it's the same passion and drive. Like if you want to really help kids, oh, I tried to be a social worker, but I wasn't cut out for it, but I wasn't this or that. Is there another way that you can still put your passion and desire to help children and learn from the mistakes that you had made with, like, this isn't for me, and take that down another road? Take it down a new, exciting road that you've never gone down before, but still have that core passion and that core desire to help people. Because I do see you, when you connect to that, why you did it in the first place, like you're already you're going to get the abundance that you want. But I really do see you needing to look at the blocks that you have around those passions and desires. With the Three of Wands is really like my childhood shadow card. I see that as like the dragon is like a shadow. It's looking at you. You're blindfolded as a child. You can't see because of all this fog and the blindfold in front of you. But when you look past those blocks, you can see that all the abundance, all the passion and desire is already there. It's about getting away from what you believe to be your blocks and realize that there is a new, exciting way that you can still be passionate, still do what you want to do without having it all work out. It's not always going to work out in the way that you think it's going to. Okay. You get in your most immediate future, you get the Seven of Swords, the Tower card, and the World. Okay. I see something happening in your most immediate future. There's a lot more going on around you than you think. And I don't think this is it. I think you think that it's not the right time. And I think this Tower moment is kind of leading you to, when is the right time? Because with this air energy, this swords energy, it's a lot of in your head. Sometimes it's, this plan isn't going to work, but have you really made a plan for the future, or have you made a plan for, I'm getting that some of you have a way that you think it needs to go. And if it doesn't go that way, then it's not for you. And with the Seven of Swords, I really think it's kind of just taking you to this energy of like, you need to revise that plan in your head that you thought it has to be like. You've got all these things around you going on, and it might not be the right time, or it might not be, I haven't got enough money yet, I haven't got my life all sorted yet, it's not the right time for me to be doing this. But something big is going to be shifting in you, because I believe that a lot of this tower energy is an internal thing. It might not be. It might be something really sudden happens in your 3D life, in your, I honestly believe it's something around you that happens with someone else, is what I'm getting. And it's like, why am I worrying about this? Why am I so worried about whether I'm going, like, why don't I just pack up all my shit and go? Why don't I just start it right now? Like, is it really poor timing? Is there really going to be a good time for this? Is there ever going to be a right time for this? And I believe that after you have this tower moment, you're going to kind of come into this place of like, shit, I don't know why I just didn't believe that I couldn't go on a different path. Like, why do I believe that I have to, why do I have to be so hard on myself to believe that I can't just get it done, that I just can't do it? Why do I believe that I have to not take some time for myself to heal the way that I thought I had to be? And why can't I just go and start this new thing? Because if you're just stuck in your head and believing that, this is what I was always taught, you have to be doing this, you have to be perfect, you have to be successful in order to follow your heart and follow your passions and follow your desire. If you think that that's always going to be an issue, then it is going to be an issue. If you believe in your head, if you think that this is the only way to do it and that there's always stuff going on, it's always the wrong time, then you're never going to make the time for yourself to believe that it isn't. And I think, honestly, some of you, once you get this passion and desire and you're like, yes, this is where I want to be going, this is what I want to be doing, I want to be creative, or I want to go down this new path of my life and I want to live through my passions and my desires, when you get out of your head and believe that you can you can sit there waiting for the time to be right, and you can sit there waiting until you're more successful and you're more this and more that, but you're doing it out of a place that is not focused on your desires, not focused on your passions and your heart and what you can bring to the world, then is it really what you want? I think my words always get jumbled around. I think people don't quite clearly understand what I'm trying to say. I really do see you coming into this place where you can forgive what you believed about the world and about yourself for a long time. Like you're kind of grieving this stage where you thought things had to be one way or not at all. And I've just pulled out the moon card, or Haniel. You're having things work around you that you don't see coming. You really do have this tower moment, and I do believe it's kind of like an intuitive tower, like an internal tower moment. Something's kind of shook you up in your head, and it stopped you in your tracks, and you being like, right, shit, I didn't actually have to do this. I didn't actually have to keep making these choices. I don't have to have, like, kind of like Taurus, I don't have to have $1 million to go traveling the world if I really want to. That was all something that was taught to me. It was all something that I have been thinking, a way, a mindset, a goal I had in mind, that these are all the plans and these are all the dots and these are all the points that I have to go to in order to tick off this box. And maybe it's time to revise those plans. Maybe it's time to look at it from a more intuitive way, that you can have everything that you want and desire when you live through your desires. So when you're coming from a place that's passionate and you're able to do what you want to do and do what you actually desire, you will bring in this abundance. You bring in this world. You'll bring in your intuitive gifts, and you'll be able to release those fears that hold you back when you're able to kind of stop holding so much of what you think your future has to be like and how to get there. When you hold all that inside your head, all you're doing is constricting the opportunities that are around you, and sometimes they're already there. Sometimes those opportunities that you think, I have to do this, 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 and this before I can get this opportunity. Like, I have to go through this course, I have to learn this new thing, I have to do all this. Sometimes that's important, but sometimes it's not. Like, if you want to be a photographer, you don't have to go and learn every photography course, have the best camera in the world, have all your money sorted out, have a job waiting for you in order to take those steps. Because I see these seeds are already planted. You've already taken some action already in your past, and now in your present moment, you are getting that desire back for why you want to do it in the first place. You have passion and desire around this. You want to do this for yourself. And a lot of your thoughts around it have just been, well, how do I make this work? How do I make it work when I have this type of life? Maybe that's the time where you need to look at your plans and go, make a new plan. Take your plan and throw it in the fucking bin. Look at a new plan. Take the bits that are necessary. Make a new plan. When you make a new plan, you will have this internal intuitive Tao moment, which something shifts inside of you and you're like, excuse me? Why did I let all these fears hold me back? And that will be a time where you need to grieve. Like, we've got the Three of Swords that I pulled out before. You might need to grieve the fact that you wasted so much time, or you think that you wasted so much time, like keeping up time. You think that you've wasted so much time and so much of your life staying in this mindset of, I have to tick all these boxes before I can do what I want to do. I have to be this age, I have to be this successful, I have to have this much money. You will have an intuitive Tower moment that will just, for you. And when that comes, you need to allow it to come, and you will get this abundance, and you will get you will be living through your intuition, and you'll have a desire to move on and find something a little bit more meaningful, and you'll be able to grow as a person, to be able to kind of, you'll mature in an emotional way that makes you feel centered in your decisions. I'm going to pull a card for you. Yeah. Sorry, I just got the High Priestess. You will. You will settle into your intuition, and you'll be able to make those choices that are right for you. I see you just really needing to sit there in your intuition, take the time to heal everything that you believed about yourself and everything that everyone told you about yourself and what you think you have to do in order to be this or that. Just give yourself some patience for your intuition to come through and to really consider carefully what it is for your plan that you want. Whether you want to have a family, or whether you want to have, or whether you think you have some blocks, take some time for that. Take some time for yourself to heal and think about what you want. Because sometimes people tell us things out of their own fear. Sometimes people are trying to take care of us and trying to tell us what they think we need to hear, so that we don't get disappointed or so that we don't set ourselves up for failure. But that in itself can set you up for failure. If you've grown up with this belief that you have to be successful before you can go out and do stuff by yourself in the world and be an entrepreneur or start your own business, but you have to have all this saved up before you do that, or you have to save up all this money before you move town or move country or whatever. Look at their motives behind that. Sometimes you can just learn from that. Your parents might have been like, oh, I tried a business once and it scared the shit out of me and it failed, so please don't get your hopes up. Please make sure you do it this way or do it that way. Really look at what they're trying to tell you, because what they're trying to tell you is that I'm afraid that you're going to make the same mistakes as me. I'm afraid that you're going to be in a position that's going to be harmful or dangerous, or you're going to, get your hopes up and it's going to turn out badly, and I can't handle the fact that you're going to be hurt. Sometimes that can just be coming out of love and protection. You have parents or family or friends or someone that are like, I don't want to see you get hurt. I don't want to see you fail and, your life fall apart. But when you do have the ability to create what you want, and you do have the ability to manifest that, but sometimes it's just not the way that people think it is, and sometimes it's just not concrete. So when we sit down and we revise our plan and we start listening to our intuition, you can realize that you are being a team player by actually, discovering who you are as a person, discovering who you are in the world or who you are spiritually, and you're able to realize that maybe there actually is a problem in the way that I'm thinking about things, and you've been stopping yourself from making a decision because you don't want to disappoint people, you don't want that to happen, and then them go, see, told you so. I told you this would happen and you still didn't listen to me. You don't want the degradation of going down your path and having this desire to move on and be different and do this and that. But we've got the High Priestess and the Hermit that both came out, which is kind of like, this is your divine path. This is what you really want to be doing. This is really who you want to be in the world. And when you can take some time to kind of look at why people were doing that in the first, you don't have to listen to their words. Like, you can listen to their words, but maybe get a new perspective of their words. Maybe their words weren't ones out of fear and worry. Maybe they're out of love. And, both could be true. Maybe they are worried about you out of love. And maybe you can take that on and still believe in yourself that you can actually create what you want. When you bring that passion into what you want and you settle yourself in and grieve that loss of how you thought things had to be, and grieve that loss of, I wasted so much time, I see things turning out in a good way. It's nice because all the earth signs seem to be like a passionate thing, like they're coming into their passion and their emotions and standing up for what they want, and it's great to see that. You don't always get nice readings, but I feel like it's a little struggle, because depending on what blocks you have and depending on how your family or your friends or your social life or your career is set up, sometimes some things can be harder for other people than they are for others, and it's not taking away from that at all. It's just really remembering what's important to you and remembering that you have those choices as well, and that, just because you think it's not the right time, or you have believed for a long time that it's not the right time, doesn't mean that you can't shift now. You can't go back in time and find that childhood desires and find those gifts and find those passions that you had for so long that you just didn't believe you had. You can kind of break through from those beliefs that you have to look or be a certain way in order to succeed. Like, once you're able to kind of grieve that in yourself and forgive those people that were doing things out of worry and love and, you know, fear and whatever, you can kind of set yourself up for a really, really good life in following your passions and desires. I'm just going to pull one more card, just because I like to. My readings are sporadic. Yeah. I see some of you Capricorns really giving service to the animal world, believing in the strangeness and the wonderful, and believing in the impossible things, and taking your fresh perspective that you have and really jumping forward in a new way. So, for some of you Capricorns, you've got really good intuition, you've got really clear desires towards animals or towards nature or towards helping animals or using animals to help other people. In some way, animals are going to be involved in what you can give in the world. So whether, if you want to be a photographer, you might be an animal photographer. You might take your animals with you everywhere you go because they're your connection to the spiritual world. And it's really letting go of those physical blocks and realizing that life can be kind of magical, and realizing that even if, you can believe it. If you can believe it, you can see it. And it's kind of hard. It's like, oh, well, it's like Santa Claus. The people who receive from Santa Claus are the ones who believe in it. And while that might be childish, it's getting back into that childlike state of mind where it's easy to believe those things can exist in the world. And it's easy to believe that you can also be Santa Claus. You can also be an elf. You can also be a unicorn or a horse or whatever. Getting back into that imaginative state of mind where you can believe in those things actually happening. Some earth signs do get stuck in the 3D world, and I see that with all signs. It's like you get so stuck in your earthly world that you discount anything that doesn't look earthly. So it's like, I thought I heard something. It must have been my imagination. Maybe it was your imagination. Or maybe you're only hearing it because you believe it's your imagination. And it's a sign from the universe for you to be like, we're here. Hi. Can you see us? Some Capricorns need to open up to their spiritual gifts, to their spiritual intuition with things. It's okay to believe in Santa Claus and still be successful in the 3D world. It's okay to believe that angels and spirit guides and things exist in the world that are helping you, or that you can be intuitive with animals and you can know what they need without really knowing very much about animals. You just walk up and go, oh my goodness, this animal seems sick or lost or whatever, I need to help it. That in itself is a gift. Being able to speak to animals in a way that is intuitive is a gift. And a lot of Capricorns, I feel, coming to that realization of my gifts are not in the 3D world. My gifts are going to be brought into the 3D world once I open up to my intuitive gifts. So when you're able to open up to those intuitive gifts, Capricorn, I really do believe that your passions and desires can come out into the 3D world. I'm going to stop talking now because it's getting hot. Hope you all have a lovely day.